Hey you guys, what's up? This is Slifer29 here. So I know it's been a while since I've done my last video, so I thought that I would do something special for you guys. So today I am doing an unboxing video of the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG Legendary Dragon decks. So this here is the third incarnation of the Legendary decks, with this year's theme being based off of different types of dragon decks, obviously. So I know that this has been out for a couple of months now, but at the time I had took a little bit of a break from Yu-Gi-Oh because at that time I was saving up money for my Xbox One X. So I had plans to get this whenever I had a chance, and my girlfriend actually got this for me as an early Christmas present, so I really appreciate her for that. So yeah, so I just thought that I would bring you guys in on that because I've done unboxing videos of the other two legendary decks, so I didn't want to break tradition with you guys. So yeah, so let's go on ahead and right here on the front you got a picture of on the left hand side of the new monster card that is in this deck, which is Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, and on the right is of course the Pharaoh Atem, and on the top of the box on the left hand side is one of the new TCG exclusive cards, which is known as Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon, and on the right is an alternate artwork of Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, and then on the sides is of course the Yu-Gi-Oh logo. And on the underside of the box, it tells you everything that you get inside. So there are 3 decks: a Legendary Dragons of Atlantis deck, a Cyber Dragon deck, and a Dimensional Dragons deck. Now the Legendary Dragons of Atlantis deck and Cyber Dragon deck, they both are 40 card main decks with 11 card extra decks, and the Dimensional Dragons deck is a 41 card main deck with a 10 card extra deck. So yeah, without further ado, let's go on ahead and look inside and see what we got. So we'll go on ahead and we'll go from left to right. So we'll start with the Legendary Dragons of Atlantis deck. Yeah, so let me get everything out here. And so for the sake of brevity, I have removed the plastic from each of the decks, and I also sorted out the duplicates so that I can get through this as quickly as I can. So so for one of the new cards in the deck, it is Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, which is a level 8 monster, dark attribute. Dragon type, 3,000 attack points, 2,500 defense points, and it's a fusion monster card, and it's a fusion of Dark Magician and a Dragon type monster. And so its effect is that its name becomes Dark Magician while it's on the field or in the graveyard, and your opponent cannot target any spell or trap cards that you control with card effects, and they can't be destroyed by any of your opponent's card effects. So that's really nice. And then next you got Apprentice Illusion Magician. Now this card was previously released in Shonen Jump as a promo, so it's nice that this card is getting reprinted, because essentially this deck gives you the basics and most of what you would need to build a Dark Magician deck. So if you're looking to build a Dark Magician deck, though, this will definitely give you most of what you need, if not all of it. And then you got Dark Magic Circle, nice. And here is Eternal Soul. Now, Eternal Soul came in the Legendary Decks 2 from last year as a secret rare, as one of the 3 promo cards. So it's nice that they actually reprinted the card as an ultra rare. I like it as a secret rare, but I think I probably like it a little more as an ultra rare. And then you got Magician Navigation. So so those are the hollow foils for this deck. And then for the monster cards in this deck, in terms of commons, you get 3 copies of Dark Magician, 1 copy of Dark Magician Girl, 2 copies of Magician's Robe, 2 copies of Magician's Rod, 3 copies of Skilled Dark Magician. This used to be a pretty broken card back in the day. And you get 1 copy each of Legendary Knight Timaeus, Legendary Knight Critias, and Legendary Knight Hermos. And you also get 1 copy of Breaker the Magical Warrior, and 1 copy of Magical Exemplar, 1 copy of Big Shield Gardener, and 2 copies of Absolute Crusader. So that rounds out the monsters for this deck. And then for the spell cards in this deck, you get 1 copy of Dark Magic Curtain, 1 copy of Illusion Magic, 1 copy of Dark Magic Expanded, 1 copy of Dark Magic Inheritance, 1 copy of Thousand Knives, man, the nostalgia, 1 copy of Dark Magic Attack, and you get 1 copy each of the Eye of Timaeus, the Fang of Critias, and the Claw of Hermos. So I remember when this card had first came out in Dragons of Legend and how expensive it was, and I ultimately didn't get this card or any other legendary dragon related stuff until Dragons of Legend Unleashed came out, which I think was either last year or the year before. So that was really cool. So I'm glad that they made them much easier to get in here. And then you continuing on, you get one copy of Legend of Heart, one copy of Swords of Revealing Light, one copy of Pot of Duality, and one copy of Reinforcement of the Army. And then going into trap cards, you get one copy of Dark Renewal, one copy of Crush Card Virus, one copy of Mirror Force, and one copy of Tyrant Wing. So, and then going into the extra deck, you get one copy of Dark Paladin, one copy of Amulet Dragon, one copy of Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight, so Timaeus' fusions, and then you get one copy each of Doom Virus Dragon, Tyrant Burst Dragon, and Mirror Force Dragon, which explains obviously why those traps were in there. And then rounding out Hermos' fusions, you get one copy each of Time Magic Hammer, Rocket Hermos Cannon, Goddess Bow, and Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword. So if you're looking to get most, pretty much, because this pretty much has everything pertaining to the legendary dragons / knights with the exception of Timaeus, the Knight of Destiny, then this deck here is definitely what you would want to get. And then moving on to the second deck, we have a Cyber Dragon deck. Now this, I would say, is probably my most favorite of these three decks because I'm a huge Cyber Dragon fan. So it's really nice that they made everything easy to get in here. So of course, though, you got the new card, Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon, which is a level 10 monster, attribute dark, type machine, has 0 attack points and 0 defense points, and is a fusion monster card, and it is a fusion of a Cyber Dragon monster and one or more monsters in the extra monster zone, and its effect is it cannot be used as a fusion material, and it must first be special summoned from the extra deck by sending the above cards from either side of the field to the graveyard, and you do not use polymerization. The original attack of this card becomes 1,200 times the number of fusion materials used for its fusion summon. So even though there are 2 extra monster zones on the field, at best, this card would only be as strong as 3,600. And on top of that, it doesn't do pretty much anything else. So you would honestly find more use out of Chimera Tech Over Dragon or Fortress Dragon compared to this. But the card may very well find some uses. So we'll see. And then in terms of other holo foils, you get one copy of Cyber Repair Plant, which previously came in the Cyber Dragon Revolution structure deck. So it's nice that they actually made this card an ultra rare because I think it really looks really nice like that. So that's cool. And then you get a copy of Cyber Network as an ultra rare, which was also from the structure deck, but not as popular though. So I don't know if it'll see use in my Cyber Dragon deck because I'm really thinking about rebuilding it. And then you get one copy of Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon as an ultra rare because I believe it was previously released as a super rare. So that's cool. And of course, my favorite, Cyber Dragon Infinity. So I was really happy when I got this card from before, and the fact that they've reprinted and made it so much easier to get. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. And then, of course, for the rest of the cards in the deck, in terms of monsters for commons, you get 3 copies of Cyber Dragon, 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Zwei, and 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Dry. So in case those of you who don't understand know what they mean by Zwei and Dry, that's German for the numbers 2 and 3 respectively. Number 1 is Eins, and one can pretty much say the Cyber Dragon is pretty much Cyber Dragon Eins. So yeah, little fun fact for those of you who don't know. And then you get 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Core, 1 copy of Proto Cyber Dragon, 2 copies of Cyber Valley, which was a broken card from back in the day, 2 copies of Cyber Phoenix, 1 copy of Cyber Dinosaur, 2 copies of Cyber Eltonin. This card is pretty badass in a Cyber Dragon deck. 1 copy of Armored Cybern, and 1 copy of Machina Fortress. So that does it for the monsters. And then going into spell cards, you get 2 more copies of Cyber Repair Plant as commons, 1 copy of Cybernetic Fusion Support, 3 copies of Evolution Burst, 2 copies of Power Bond, 2 2 copies of Overload Fusion, 1 copy of Future Fusion, 1 copy of Limiter Removal, and 1 copy of Machina Armored Unit. So it's really cool though that they actually included, that they included Future Fusion in here, and it does have the errated effects. So for those of you that were looking to spam that Future Fusion, Overload Fusion and the Chimera Tech Overdragon, yeah, not so broken anymore. And then you get, in terms of the traps though, a common Cyber Network, Cyber Shadow Gardener, and 1 copy each of Storming Mirror Force, Quaking Mirror Force, Drowning Mirror Force. I never had much of an opportunity to collect the other various Mirror Forces, so I like that it gives you some of them out of there. And then from the extra deck, you get 1 copy of Cyber End Dragon, 2 copies of Cyber Twin Dragon, 1 copy of Chimera Tech Overdragon, 1 copy of Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, 1 copy of Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, and of course, if you're going to have Infinity, you're definitely going to need Cyber Dragon Nova, and you do get 2 in here. So that pretty much covers everything from the Cyber Dragon deck. So yeah, I really like this, and it definitely makes me stoked to want to build a Cyber Dragon deck. And now, last but not least, we have the Dimensional Dragons deck. Now, as long as Pendulum Monsters have been out, I kid you not, I have never once performed a Pendulum Summon, and I'm really feeling tempted to build a deck that is centered around this, so to perform Pendulum Summon. So we'll see how it goes, though, especially with Link Monsters and all that. So the cover card here is Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon, so you, which is a level 7 monster, dark attribute, dragon type, 2700 attack, 2000 defense, and is a pendulum monster card, and it has a pendulum scale of 8. Its pendulum effect is if an Odd Eyes card or cards that you control is destroyed by battle or by card effect, then you can special summon this. You can special summon 1 Odd Eyes monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard, and you can only use this effect of Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon once per turn. And then, of course, you get, for the other hollow foils, each of the different dimension dragons. So you get 1 copy each of Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon with that new artwork. And all of them have new artwork because you got Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, and Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. And then for the commons, for the monsters, you get 1 common copy of Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, 1 copy of Supreme King Dragon Odd Eyes, 2 copies of Odd Eyes Phantom Dragon, 2 copies of Odd Eyes Persona Dragon, 2 copies of Odd Eyes Mirage Dragon, 1 copy of Performapal Odd Eyes Light Phoenix, 2 copies of Performapal Odd Eyes Unicorn, 2 copies of Performapal Skull Crobat Joker, 1 copy of Performapal Rain Goat, and 2 copies of Performapal You Go Golem. I swear, I wonder who at Konami thought of that name. And 2 copies of Noble Dragon Magician, and finally Odd Eyes Gravity Dragon. And then for spell cards, you get 2 copies of Sky Iris, 1 copy of Odd Eyes Fusion, 1 copy of Odd Eyes Advent, 2 copies of Spiral Flame Strike, 2 copies of Duelist Alliance, 2 copies of Pendulum Impenetrable, 2 copies of Pendulum Storm, 1 copy of Pot of Riches, 2 copies of Terraforming, and so that's for the spells. And then for traps, you get 1 copy of Echo Oscillation, 2 copies of Pendulum Reborn, 2 copies of Pendulum Switch, and that pretty much covers the traps right there. And then rounding out the extra monster zones, you get you get a common version. You get 1 copy of Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom, 1 copy of Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, 1 copy of Performapal Gatling Ghoul, 1 copy of Supreme King Dragon Clear Wing, 1 copy of Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon, 1 copy of Supreme King Dragon Dark Rebellion, and finally 1 copy of Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon. So this is really cool if you want to collect all the various different Odd Eyes monsters. So that pretty much gives you most of that right there. And yeah, so all in all, you guys, I think that this here is a really awesome set. And I'm sorry, you guys. Yeah, so I think it's a really awesome set, and I think that it's worth having, though. So if you love collecting legendary decks and you love the new and nostalgia that is from here, then I would highly recommend that you guys pick this up. So yeah, so I'm gonna go on ahead and conclude it right there. So once again, I thank you guys for watching, and let me know what your thoughts are. So feel free to comment, rate, and subscribe. So until next time, love, peace, and chicken grease.